Hi everyone, this is Karen Hightower. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a card project with you using the new Gina K Designs Card Kit Elegant Asters. This is a stamp set we will be using, and we'll be using the large flower up here in the right hand corner on an acrylic block. I also have the hello die from the kit and 3 hellos already cut out of Dusty Rose cardstock. We will also be using the Gina K Designs Dusty Rose Premium Dye ink and the embossing and watermark ink from Gina K Designs. I have the cardstock. I have white, heavy base weight cardstock cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I also have a few pieces of white layering weight and some soft stone cardstock. I do also have a piece of the Bristol smooth paper that we will be using to do some heat embossing and some watercoloring on. And then we're going to take our embossing magic pad and dust it all over the Bristol smooth paper layer and knock off all the excess dust. And then we're going to take the large flower and we're going to stamp it in the middle, and then we're going to stamp one on each side of that. And next we will grab our white fine detail embossing powder, and we will apply it all over the layer where we used our embossing ink to stamp the image. Once you apply it all over the flowers, then you can tap off the side or the back to get the excess off. And now that it is heat embossed, I'm going to grab the Dusty Rose ink and one of the life-changing brushes, and I'm going to apply the ink to the center of each flower. I'm just going to go in circular motions, and I want the ink to stay close to the center, so I'm just going to work it out just a little bit. And then we're going to grab a Zig light gray marker. You could use any water-based marker for this, I suppose, and you're just going to add a little bit of ink at the tip of the petal, and then you're going to pull the color down with your water brush. And you're just going to go around from petal to petal, adding a little bit of color on the tip and pulling it down with the water brush. Now, if your water brush gets extra color on the tip, just wipe it off on a towel or a paper towel or something that you have handy that you can do that on. And then as you're going around, some petals are set behind the other ones, like this one here. You can add just a little bit of ink extra around where the 2 petals overlap, and then you can tell that there's one in front of the other one. And then you're just going to go around and keep doing the individual petals, and we'll continue around all 3 of the flowers, just filling in 1 petal at a time. I'm almost through with all 3 flowers, just a couple more petals to go. But when I get through with those, I want to take my marker and go back to each flower and add a little more color to some of the petals that are sitting behind to give it a little more depth and some interest to it. So I'm going to do that to all 3 of the flowers. And after I finish that, I'm going to grab a life-changing brush and some of the Dusty Rose ink, and I'm going to blend it out from the center just a little bit up some of the petals, just to extend the pink on some of them, not all the way around, just a little bit, just to add a little more color down the petals. Now I'll grab my micro cloth and wipe off the ink that is setting on top of the embossing powder so it don't stain it. I have cut this panel down to 3 3/4 by 5, and I have the hello die here that I'm going to place in the center so we can die cut that out. I will use some of my purple tape to hold down the die while it runs through the machine. So then you'll want to remove your hello out of your die and then save all the little pieces that go with it. I'm going to take the 3 hellos that were cut from the Dusty Rose cardstock, and I'm going to grab my Gina K Designs Connect glue, and I'm going to attach all 3 of those together. You can take the Connect glue and you can add little dots along the hello, or you can just do a real thin little line of glue all on the letters. I really like this container that this glue comes in because you can squeeze out just a tiny little thread of glue or little small dots. Either way you want to do it. So then we'll line up the hellos, and I just lay it on top of one end and then I'll just use my fingers to kind of manipulate it and attach it and try to line it up that way. Sometimes I use my tweezers to kind of go down and make sure they're lined up too. Whatever works best for you. Now that all the hellos are glued together, I'm going to take a panel of soft stone and I'm going to use the Connect glue to attach the top layer. I will go all around the die cut word so all those little pieces in between the letters will lay flush and flat whenever we get ready to assemble and put the hello die cut word back into it. And once that's all done, we'll grab the hello and the Connect glue and we'll apply a bead of glue on the back side of that hello die cut, and then we will place it back into where it was cut out from. Then we'll be adding some Connect glue to the center of the letters, and then those little pieces you saved, this is where we're going to put them back in. I'm using a jewel picker to pick them up, and it just helps hold them long enough to get them back in the hole where they came from. And we'll just do each piece. After attaching those two layers on top of the card base, I'm going to grab some sequins and I'm going to lay them around until I get them about where I want them. To me, this is the hardest part, deciding where to put these little sequins. So you can play with it and see what looks good to you and decide where you want them. And then I'll grab my Connect glue and I'll put a little dot down and put the sequin on top of it. So let's finish up the inside of the card. I'm using a piece of soft stone and the white layering weight cardstock, and I've grabbed the big flower and some of the Dusty Rose ink, and I'm going to stamp this flower 3 times, 2 times at the bottom and once up in the right corner of the panel, and I'll attach it to the inside. And this is the finished card project, and I have stamped my name on the back. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you for spending some time with me. You can find me over at karenscreativedesign.com, on Instagram as Karen Hightower, or on Facebook in the Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends group. Thank you so much for stopping by, and have a wonderful day.